Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Mama Genius Hub podcast. We were recording this live in December, but this is going to air January 1st. We're going to talk a little bit about, you've gone through the holidays and stuff. By the time this comes out, we're going to talk about how do we come back into our routines and stuff after being out of it? How do we regulate ourselves? Lisa's going to be here to tell us about getting back to the calm, getting back into it, confidence, and doing that with our kids. We're going to get started in just a moment. Welcome to the Mama Genius Hub podcast, where we support moms with big dreams, from entrepreneurship to personal aspirations. I'm your host, Michelle DeKeyser, and I'm here to help you unlock your potential in all areas of life. Join us as we explore strategies for thriving in motherhood while pursuing the dreams, the key to actually unlocking your genius. Subscribe now and embark on a journey to realize your fullest potential. And we're back. And so I have the pleasure of having Lisa Foster on, who is also a mother of two incredible teenagers. A physical and craniologist. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce it. You're not telling me what it is, Lisa. Therapist and owner of the Metropolitan something therapy, which you can tell us what that is in a moment. She's the host of the Real Life Mom podcast, which I've been on, and I love that we've been able to exchange this, where she's passionate about helping moms prioritize themselves and their own mental, physical, and emotional well-being. All right, first, explain the word to me, because you know what? I just got tongue-tied.
I love it. First of all, I love you, Michelle, because you just show up as is, and it doesn't matter. I love that, right? Yeah, the word is really hard. It's craniosacral therapist, and you're not the only one out there that gets tongue-tied. And my private practice is called Mapleton Craniosacral Therapy.
And I was like, normally I go through the bio and all this stuff and make sure I pronounce things, but you know what? We came in and it is what it is, and that's what it is. That's what I love about this too. Is the Mama Genius Hub is about just showing up where you are at in that moment. And I'm just going to be the real life example. What did I just say? Because you know what, we all do it. But what the big question is, what do we do afterwards? I think that actually leads us into this episode, because we're actually recording this before the holidays, but we're going to talk about what happens after, because it's the same thing with you show up, you did all this stuff. How do you regulate, get back to afterwards? Before we go into that, though, I want to just dive into, because I love to start with, what is your why behind wanting to do all this?
Yes, I think my why is simple. I am very simple to the point. And my why is that I just love to inspire others so that they can empower themselves to really help themselves, right? I like to show up that way for everything I do, whether it's my craniosacral therapy practice or being a mom or even a podcast host. And the first thing I always do, when a client will come into my room and, ready for treatment, people have this fix me mentality, right? Come fix me. My thought is, no, this is a team. We do this together, because no one knows you better. I don't care who you are, what you do, but no one knows you better than you. So you have all those answers inside you, but sometimes we just don't have access to them. They don't have the right resources. We don't have the right tools for them to come out. So, that's my why. It's just helping people really feel empowered that they can help themselves.
I love that so much, because I think that's what it is all about, just feeling empowered that you can help yourself, because we're in this mentality that we need to be fixed. And I love that you said that, because we don't necessarily there is no fixing. There's unlocking and opening to who we really are. But it's the idea that, we're not doing the way society told us to do, so now we're SOL. Mm-hmm. And I love that you just started this episode with that. And I just want to ground that into all the moms that are listening, is that you do not need to be fixed at all. End of story.
Yeah. And honestly, and even more than that, it's our imperfections that make us who we are and make us relatable and likable. So Michelle coming on and not being able to say craniosacral therapy, right? Great. Embrace it. So what? We moved on, right? It's great. There's no big deal there. So yeah, just show up who you are. That's the best way to, do it.
And I think that is the key to motherhood too, is that we're so worried about showing up perfectly that sometimes we just don't show up. And we don't hang out with our friends, or we don't do something, or we don't invite someone into our house because it's too messy, or it's too this. And that might be happening during the holidays, or even after the holidays, when you have that splurge of I haven't picked up my house yet. Yeah. And then you I really feel the key is the connections. And so those of you listening before the holidays, going in looking for more connection from the holidays. But I really want to focus with you, Lisa Tan. How do we come back now after being out of our routines? How do we, this is going to air January 1st of 2025. Oh my gosh, I can't believe that. How do we get back into that mindset, though, of starting that new year? And I hate the word resolutions because people put all these pressures on themselves to start things. But where do you suggest we start with the calm and the care and all that?
Yeah. Honestly, I mean, you probably hear this over and over again from all your guests, but, take a moment to yourself. That hustle and bustle that you just experienced from the holidays, or if you're going into the holidays, there's so much there, right? It's like your system is kind of stressed out. It's in this, it's almost like could be in a fight or flight and you don't even know it. And I think coming back, we need to kind of rebalance our systems by just pausing and even just giving yourself time to figure out what it is. How do you want your new year to even look in the new year once everything settles back down? And I agree. The New Year's resolution thing, right? I love making vision boards. I love doing all that. However, New Year's resolutions, I think, should be ongoing because I want to remind everybody that we are a work in progress. We're not one and done, right? So you hit a goal. What are we just stopping there? Like, done? Okay, nailed it. Done. Got the job I want. Done, right? Like, hey, best parent now. Done. Did the thing, right? Like, no, it doesn't work that way. And I think the way we stay balanced and focused is to constantly be a work in progress, constantly learn new tools that we can use, constantly make new goals for ourselves, if you want to call them. I don't even know if we want to call them goals. I think there are better words out there. And it should be ongoing throughout the year. So I think the first thing we need to do, whether going into the holiday or coming back from the holiday, is to take a pause and sit down. And honestly, I love breath work. Okay. I know you've had some people on recently with breath work. I've listened to your episodes. I love them. They were great. But there is a simple breath work you can do even during the holiday when people are on you and you're starting to get elevated. Because I'm just going to detour for a second because I don't think people actually know what happens in our nervous system when we're elevated. And so I really kind of want to explain this a little bit because it really puts things in perspective. When you think of your nervous system, right, it is built for one thing, and that is to survive. It doesn't know if a bear is chasing you or your in-laws are pissing you off. It just rings the alarm and says, let's react. And the thing about that is what happens is it sends some of our organs need to work harder. You can feel your heart rate increase, your lungs expand, your eyes dilated, because we need to actually run from the situation that even though it might just be an in-law and it might not be that actual bear, we need to do something about it. But what also happens is it turns off other systems so that other systems in our body can work. So our digestive system shuts down and our immune system is not needed. If we're going to die, do we need either one of those things? No, not so much, right? But the problem is, especially during the holiday season, it's we don't necessarily go from one thing to the other. Michelle, you just came from many things coming here, right? And it's our nervous system gets triggered and then triggered again. We don't get the chance, if we were actually being chased by a bear, to stop and say, okay, I survived this. Let me just shake it off like the animals do, actually disperse that energy and then go on. We just keep going. We never rebalance. So what I'm going to say to you guys is that let's start with even just a simple breath activity because it can trigger what we call our parasympathetic system. That is our rest and digest system to relax even in the moment. So if you
Let's do the breath in just a moment. We'll be right back and then we'll get straight into that breath. But before we do that, I just love how you said that to really, and I love to put it as the Mama Genius reset and how we just reset the body and giving yourself that pause and acknowledging it. And so we'll be right back in a moment to go into that breath. Attention mompreneurs. Do you feel like you're constantly juggling the responsibilities without a moment to yourself? It's time to pause and reflect with our Mama Genius quiz. Tailored for busy mamas like you, this quiz will help you identify what's blocking your path and inspire you to harness your unique strengths. Transform how you manage life and business, find your rhythm, and ignite your joy. Visit mamageniushub.com today to discover your Mama Genius. And that's mamageniushub.com. And we're back. And so please guide us through this breath.
Yeah, so easy. You're going to take 5 to 10 breaths, but we can even try 1 or 2. And what you're going to do is you are going to exhale twice as long as you've inhaled. And so what that's actually doing is it stimulates that vagus nerve that innervates a lot of our organs, and it innervates our parasympathetic system, and it helps us calm down. So all you're going to do is, and it doesn't really matter. I like to breathe in through my nose and exhale through my mouth. Some people like to breathe in through their nose and exhale through their nose. Honestly, if you're trying to keep it a secret and like you have your in-law right there and you want to do it in the moment, then you're just breathing. So you're just going to take a breath in. I like to count in for 3. So if you take a breath in, 1, 2, 3, and then exhale for a count of 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And let's just do 2 breaths, 2 or 3 breaths like that. So at your own pace, breathe in and then exhale. And take 1 more. And exhale. And already what happens is your heart rate starts to do you feel a little bit better, Michelle?
I do. And actually, I was thinking as I was doing it at first, my natural reaction is always close my eyes when I take deep breaths. But right. It's like, if you are, but if you're doing it in front of someone, you don't want them to realize it, like try doing it like, and then I'd gone, and I don't know if you get those on the video, then all of a sudden my eyes were open, but like to practice that, like, so they, again, I love how you're doing this and how we're setting this up is these are things to practice now so that these are in your toolbox in the moment. And that's a big thing. And if this speaks to you right now, add this to your toolbox. If this one doesn't quite jive with you, we have a lot more in the reset on the hub as well for you to pick from. But that is the key, is really to start saying, this one feels like it's going to work for me.
Yeah.
Take note of that. And then you have that in your toolbox for the moment.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can actually put a blood pressure cuff on you and do 10 breaths and see your pressure go down. So physiologically, it really changes, even though it's so simple. So yeah, definitely put it in your toolbox.
So I'm taking notes on you.
Yeah, that's okay.
Again, apologizing. I don't know why I keep apologizing, but again, it's just showing up. And I think as women, we do that a lot with the apologies. And so I'm working on not doing as much, but also as we're thinking about that coming back to reality or daily life, whatever you kind of want to call it. But how do we spin that up? Not even the word spin. I'm not sure I like this word spin, but how do we change that so that it's something like comforting to return to? Like, I mean, the holidays are over, the excitement, all of that. And sometimes, especially if you have younger kids, like who are so excited by all that, how do we like bring that almost pre-planned for a little bit? Because we know what's going to happen, but how do we set ourselves up for like, this isn't such a letdown, but something that we can like ease into? I love that you that's
exactly.
Great.
There's so much going on, right, in the holidays. I call it, we used to call it the Christmas, like, just dump, because the kids would open up all these like gifts and things. And then it was like this tantrum would happen when they were younger, right? Like it was almost so overwhelming for their systems. So yeah, one thing, if you're in the actual holidays and your kids actually have like these tantrums, I would say definitely go outside, be in nature, take a walk. Because once again, we need to shake out our system. Like we talked about, like the animals, when they survive, let's shake out our system. So that is movement in any form. Your kids can go play on the playground, just, being out in nature. Nature is balance. It has this natural balance and harmony out there. It's a place that you can go that's like free and ready to balance you at any time, right? So that's why, like, you go out and sit in the sun, it feels good. You go take a walk. Tree bathing is the real thing. So I would say that. And then I would say, as you enter that new year, and like going back to things like people like goals and things like that, I love vision boards. And this can be done as a whole family. Because what I like about it is you're setting your intention for the year, or you can make your vision board. Like actually last year, I made my vision board as ongoing, meaning that I only put a few things in there because I knew each month I wanted to add. I didn't want it to be this is my only plan for the whole year. I wanted to be able to be
Ooh.
flexible. So yeah, so it was really kind of a fun way. And in our family, it's a big thing. So New Year's Day is a big tradition for us that I take, and we've done this with the kids when they were small to like now they're like one's an adult, right? And they still do it. And we take big oak tag, those big poster boards, and we either cut out pictures, we draw. Now, drawing and coloring, another calming activity. You know what else is another calming activity is like journaling. So if you're making this vision board, you're doing all those things, right? You're writing on it, you're coloring, you're being creative, and those are actually very calming for the nervous system. So I love to take out a vision board and with the whole family even and just make one. And what we do too, since we do it every year, we take out our old one and we look at our past events to see what we've done and what did we get to, what didn't we get to. And it's okay not to get to everything, but it also allows us to like reevaluate, do we want to do that in the next year, or have we maybe we were a work in progress and now we're different this year and now we want to change it to something else. So that is always something we really like to do as a tradition, just boosting us into the new year because it gets us excited. And then here's a little trick too. After 3 weeks pass, look at it again. Because we all get very excited and hyped up, and then people don't look at their vision boards, right? So put a date on your calendar to kind of reassess. Is this still me? How am I doing with these things? You know, how do I feel? Am I more balanced now that I've gotten some things in there for like maybe working out, nutrition, breathing? Am I doing all those things? Are they on my vision board? And I really like to also hang it somewhere I see it every day. So mine's in my closet because every day when I go get dressed, it's there.
I love this so much. And you're making me envision like a family one. And we'll still like be on vacation during like the first of the year, but I'm thinking that first weekend back,
Yeah.
like, but also like I can also bring up like when we're in the car together and stuff, start taking notes on what some people's visions are so that we already have a starting place.
Yeah.
When we come back. You're just giving me all these ideas, so I'm throwing those out there because some people might be on vacation as well too during the actual like New Year's or whatever it is. But it would be a good returning activity to do and having it do as a family, because that's one of the things I feel that we not necessarily we put it out there, but not necessarily together in some way for us to share. And we do have one wall where we put all the calendars and stuff, so we could add it there as well. So I wanted to kind of throw that out there. And again, something else to add to your toolbox.
Yeah. And take pictures while you're on vacation. Those could be great, inspiration while you're on your vacations. Great.
Oh yeah. Oh, we'll have plenty of pictures. Yeah, but we could add some of those to that as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good idea. I love that so much. And so I love how we're talking about just different ways to do that. And I just had to say that ongoing idea. I've never really thought about that before. Like you're like, oh, I have to have this all done and complete. And there's these vision board parties and like, it's all complete. I never really thought about, let's just start off the year. It doesn't have to like be this huge pressure point that we do put on ourselves a lot to be the perfect board, perfect way of doing things that show up where you guys are at. And that's why it gave me the idea when you were talking about like, oh, I could take some notes and just start the conversation in the cars, because I know we'll be doing some like driving, we're in the car together, and then I can just have my phone out taking notes for everyone. And that's something we can come back to as well. So thank you so much for that. And we'll be back in just a moment.
Do you ever feel like your own dreams are fading on you as you focus and keep everything together for your family, or been buried under laundry and school runs and endless to-do lists? They're so deep, you don't even know what they are anymore. The Mama Genius Hub is here to help you uncover that part of you again. Maybe you felt that pull to start a passion project, return to a hobby you once loved, or pursue a career that lights you up, but you're so caught in everyone else's needs that you keep slipping through the cracks. In just 15 minutes a day, our mini courses will help you reconnect with those dreams while finding a new rhythm in motherhood's beautiful, messy life. And best of all, you'll be doing it with a community of moms who truly understand the juggle and the joy. The Mama Genius Hub is a community who've been there and are here to support and inspire each other every step of the way. It's time to rediscover your spark, live in your genius, and inspire your kids by showing them how to follow their own passions. Join the Mama Genius Hub today and start creating space for you again without guilt and doing it solo.
Come to www.connectingmamas.com for more details.
And we're back. Wow. Just the idea is the New Year's. Is there anything else you want to add to bringing that calm back to the beginning of the year?
Yeah, I also want to point out that like energy is kind of also a real thing, right? You can feel it when someone walks in the room that is negative, like you start to feel that way, whether it's your teenager or someone else, right? And same with when you're around somebody who is very positive, right? Like you come out and you're like, oh, that was so great, right? So it is real. And the holiday season, I think there's a lot of energy being thrown around, a lot of feelings, right? And I think going back to that pause and taking that moment and checking in with yourself to see how you're feeling and really asking you, the question is, what I'm feeling in this moment, is it mine? Because I do think we tend to want to hold for other people, especially in our families. You know, in my type of work, I do get to see families, and I'll see a child and then another session, see a parent. And what I find is people are holding on, even in their bodies, to different things. So if my husband has back pain, someone could check my back and I'm actually holding that tension too, because we want to support each other on a very subconscious level. And so checking in with yourself, because holding other people's stuff does not help them and it only destroys your insides, right? It's no good. So checking in with yourself about that and saying, okay, what I'm feeling now, maybe I'm feeling drained or I'm kind of in a bad mood or whatever it is. Checking in and saying, it was what I'm holding actually mine, or was it somebody else's? And if it is, or not, you know, like giving yourself, like, I like to think of this like little tube that like comes over me and just cuts all those cords that take me out, you know, if it's not going to benefit me. And then just filling that tube up with something that feels good. Like what lights you up? I mean, honestly, like my son gives me a hug before he goes off to school, and it's like the best hug in the world, honestly. And that feeling, I bottle it up and I'm going to put it in my tube. If there's like someone in your family that like just, I don't know, is just like rubbing you the wrong way, or your teen has a lot of angst in there that's just revving you up, great. You put your tube on, you fill yourself up, and then you think about like this nice warm little cord that goes out to your teenager, and you wrap them with so much love, and then you let them go. They'll be okay. They'll be okay. You don't have to hold on to it, because supporting them, I always like to think of myself as like this support system, right? Like we're on a boat, right? And I can throw you a line to get you out of what you want to be, you know, whatever it is that you're doing that's causing angst, but I'm not going to jump in the water with you.
Yeah.
So you can pull yourself into my boat and we can hang out together, but I'm not jumping in with you. So I just kind of want to remind people of that after the holidays, during the holidays, and whenever you need it.
Which I think leads us perfectly into our last question of the day, which is, what is a common myth, belief about, that is not right. What is, I again, my VA keeps changing things on me, but just basically, what is a common myth of motherhood you think that holds moms back from living in their genius?
Yeah, I think it's that we don't feel good enough, right? Like we feel like someone could do something better than us. We just, you know, we just don't have all the knowledge, you know, we're just not enough, right? And honestly, I just want to leave this with your listeners, is that you are enough. I mean, each one of us is so important, and each one of us can touch one person, and then that one person we touch can touch somebody else. And so that person will touch somebody else, and look how many people you've touched. So I think it's
And on that note, I know you have a gift for everyone. Can you tell us about that?
Oh, yeah. So I have a just kind of a visualization meditation. And when I say meditation, I'm going to use it loosely. It's more of visualization that you can kind of actually look at scanning your body and just relaxing your nervous system. So I think Michelle has the link that she will share with you guys. But you
Right now.
yeah, but you can also go to the Real Life Moms with a Z, MOMZ .com, and you can go to Mom's Calming Corner, and it has a bunch of things that tools that you can use to kind of relax your nervous system. But the visualization is on there as well.
Awesome. And then, yeah, so tell us you just tell us your website, how to get hold of you. That's awesome. I'm going to put you backstage for a minute and give a couple takeaways from today, and then we'll bring you back for one last takeaway. We'll bring you right back. Wow, I just learned a lot about calming. And again, I love how she just started this with takeaway number 1 is feeling empowered to show up. And we were talking about how I had my mishap or whatever. But again, it's just showing up who you are, wherever you're at. And that shows really the people in front of you who you are. And we don't want to hide that anymore. We can get away from the idea of perfection. And then we have number 2 takeaway, which is taking a moment to yourself. We get into that hustle and bustle, that fight or flight, whether it's in the holidays right now or post holidays of that coming back and that letdown. You're still in that kind of, and to rebalance our systems, we really need to take that pause. And I love how Lisa told us that we are work in progress. That it's not about, oh, I nailed it and that's it. That to help us stay that balance and focus, all of this is coming back to knowing that we are a work in progress. Which then leads us to how do we regulate our nervous systems, number 3. And she gave us that breath work of we did a couple together where we just have that longer exhalation when we're doing it. We do 3 and 6 or whatever it is. But I love how she says that we can do it in front of whoever we're in front of. And so when you need that moment to get back into yourself, that's a great way to do that. And to really put that in, which leads us to number 4 is what can we put into our toolbox from today? First of all, that breath work as well. Then she also told us about, especially when coming back from the holidays, getting out into nature and really doing all those things that we can take from that. And I love the idea of the vision board toolbox, like putting that into our toolbox as well, that we can do as a family. But I never had really thought about it before, where we could just start the vision board and keep adding into it throughout the year. And I love how then she also takes out the one from last year to reflect on it as you move forward with this year, seeing what you did and didn't do. But it's not about blame or shame. It's about reflecting, and also don't forget the celebration. Don't forget to celebrate the things you did do, because we always leave that out. And that leads us into number 5, when we look at the idea of energy and those feelings of energy that are around us. And I love that she put the question up there, whose energy is it? Are you really taking on someone else's energy, or is this feeling really coming from me? Think about that lifeboat that she told us about. There's someone else swimming in the water. You don't want to get in the water with them, but you're willing to invite them onto your boat. And so the difference between that and how you put your energy and what you bring back in, really, and then end with the question of what really lights you up, to put more of that into things that you need to fill up that boat and put that into the tubes. Or bring Lisa back.
Great summary.
I do my best. I'd love to hear your final takeaway for the audience, for everyone.
Yeah, I think I just would like the audience to just remember to pause. We don't have to ever react in the moment. We're not on a timer. So if you need a moment to react, do that. Then you can react the way you want, and take breaths so that you're reacting from a very calm place.
Oh, I love that so much. And thank you so much today for Lisa for joining us. And I just want everyone to embrace the things that bring them joy, especially as we get into the hoopla of the holidays in front of us, for those of you listening to the live YouTube, versus those who are hearing the podcast later, of when we come back into the new year and what can we do, but to help ourselves really focus on the things that are intentional and important to us, and then how we can regulate our bodies with that. So thank you so much, Lisa, for joining us today. And it was such a pleasure to have you on.
Thank you, Michelle.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you for joining us in today's episode of the Mama Genius Hub podcast. If you found value in our conversation, please share this episode with another mama who might benefit. Sharing helps us build a supportive community and reach out to more mamas like you. After all, it's more fun when we do motherhood together. Until next time, stay motivated and continue to pursue your dreams as you shine in your genius.